My neighbor said it was just the pipes making noise, until I found the hidden door in his basement. The place looks bigger when it's empty. The floors are the old kind that keep other people's footsteps like a memory, and the walls have that tired, chalky look that says a decade of paint jobs were done in a hurry. I tell myself the duplex has character, because that's how I make peace with the uneven outlets and the single overhead light that hums before it warms up. The landlord's office gives me a ring with 3 keys and a typed welcome note about trash pickup and shared basement etiquette. I sign, get the keys cut deeper across my thumb than I expect, and walk next door to meet the neighbor who, according to the note, handles little things. He answers before I finish knocking. He's got the kind of smile that shows all the teeth without finding the eyes. "I'm Martin," he says, and his key ring is a small wind chime. Old building, but she's sturdy. Anything pops up, I'm right here. Inside his unit, I see the same cheap laminate counter as mine, but his is wiped to a sterile shine. The air smells like lemon cleaner with something colder underneath, like the inside of a public pool just after closing. He notices my nose twitch and laughs easily. "Sorry, I clean a lot. Habit." He walks me out back and taps the basement door with his knuckles. "Fresh paint, still a little glossy. Just replaced the lock and gave it a coat," he says. "We share down there. Laundry, storage. It's a maze at first. You'll get it." That first night, I set up a mattress on the floor and wedge a box against the window that won't quite close. My cat Milo does slow exploratory loops, tail up, sniffing the corners like he's reading what the last tenant wrote with dust. I leave the bathroom faucet trickling because the hot water is stubborn, and because the white noise feels safer than a new silence. At 2:12 a.m., a sound cuts through the trickle. 3 knocks, 2 knocks, 1. 3-2-1. It's not someone at my door. It's the kind of sound that belongs to the bones of a building. It comes from below. Milo freezes, ears pivoting. The knocks snap into the floorboards like a metronome that forgot the rest of the song. 3 beats. 2, 1. I sit up and listen hard. It stops. 5 minutes pass, then again, like an alarm you forgot you set. 3-2-1. I talk myself into a story. Old pipes, water hammers, air in the lines. I'm not a plumber. I'm the kind of person who Googles, "What is that sound?" and gets forms that say, "It's normal and you're fine," and call a professional if it persists. It persists. At 2:42, at 3:07, at 3:21. Always the same pattern, like footsteps practicing a dance offbeat, like someone signaling. In the morning, the knocks feel ridiculous. Daylight makes confidence cheap. I stretch a smile onto my face and knock on Martin's door. He opens fast again as if he's been standing near it. I tell him about the noise and my voice tries to keep it casual. "Just the pipes," he says instantly, with the soothing cadence of somebody who's said this before. "Old houses talk at night. Water hammer. Expansion and contraction. Once you settle in, you won't notice." Water hammer sounds like this. I tap 3 times, then 2, then 1 against his doorframe without meaning to. His eyes flick to my hand and back. "Like I said," he says, chuckling. "Old houses. I can take a look later if you want, but it's nothing." He walks me down to the basement anyway. It's cooler than it should be for August. The single bulb over the laundry machines flickers once and holds. The far half is caged off by chain link and cinder block. "My side," he says, jangling keys. Our side is a long aisle of partial walls and old shelving, each unit a little country of cardboard and plastic bins. I spot where he painted. A neat white rectangle around the doorframe, the brush strokes still visible. He points at the maze of copper and steel overhead. "When someone upstairs flushes, you'll hear it. When the heater kicks on, you'll hear it. If it's really annoying, I can add some straps to dampen it." He says it like a fix, and I realize I'm nodding because he expects me to. There's a smell I can't place that drifts in and out while we talk. Clean, sharp, unnatural, chlorine, or something cousin to it. I'm about to ask if there was a leak when he claps my shoulder and steers me back up the stairs. "You'll be fine," he says. "First week is always the loudest. The second night, I try a podcast so I don't sit up waiting." The host's voice folds into the edges of the room, and I get 2 hours before the knocks arrive on schedule. 3-2-1. Milo is already facing the kitchen as if he saw a shadow I missed. I kill the podcast, listen, and check the faucets. The bathroom tap is off. The kitchen is off. The radiator is cold. The knocks keep coming every 20 minutes like they're obeying a timer. In the morning, I email the landlord. I keep it polite, factual. "There is a noise. It repeats in a pattern at night. Please advise." The reply comes 2 hours later and reads like a template. "Thank you for reaching out. In older multi-unit buildings, plumbing and heating can cause occasional sounds. Please coordinate with our building representative, Martin, for any on-site concerns. If the issue persists, We can schedule a non-emergency inspection. I stare at the phrase non-emergency and hear knocks again in my head. I call my friend Lena on my lunch break. She works at a company that actually fixes things and knows the difference between a rumor and a pipe. I try to mimic the rhythm of the sound on the park bench while a bus sighs past. That's weirdly regular, she says. Do me a favor, record it tonight. If it's water hammer, it's usually triggered by a valve closing fast or pressure changes. It's not rhythmic. It's rude. I go home before dark and take Milo down to the basement so he'll get used to it and stop puffing his tail at the stairwell. He doesn't hiss. He goes still. He stares at the far end where the aisle kinks left and the bulb doesn't reach. The air is so clean it feels scraped. I tell myself someone mopped. I tell myself bleach is better than mildew. There's a single wet boot print on the concrete, darker than the rest of the floor, as if someone stepped in a puddle just outside and came back. It points toward our storage area and then stops, as if the next step was carefully wiped away. I crouch to touch it, and it leaves nothing on my finger. Dry to the touch, damp to the eye. Back upstairs, I try to make noise feel ordinary. I put plates away a little louder. I run the shower and sing badly. I talk to Milo like he answers. At 10, I put my phone on the nightstand with the voice recorder app queued up. At 1:57, I wake up before the knocks. It's like my body learned their schedule. At 2:12, they begin. 3, 2, 1, and I hit record. The sound comes through the mattress and into my ribs. Between sets, I can hear Milo's collar bell. He's in the hallway, creeping toward the kitchen. The second set hits. The third. Hours get out of shape. When the sun finally brushes the side of the building and my recorder shows an hour of sleep and 3 of listening, I sit up and pat the space where Milo usually nests. It's empty. I check under the chair he likes behind the bathroom curtain, atop the cabinets. I shake his treat jar, and only the half-mocking rattle of dry biscuits answers me. He's not a DoorDasher. He's never even shown interest in the hallway. I call his name for the first time lightly. Then, with a rising edge, my throat gets tight. I open the front door to an empty landing. No fur, no bell. The basement door feels cool under my palm as I open it. The bulb over the laundry gives me that merciless office-like clarity. The air is sharp again. Cleaner than any basement has a right to be. I call for Milo and my voice is too loud. It throws itself down the aisle and doesn't come back. On my side, the shelf where I stacked 3 moving boxes yesterday sits an inch out from the wall, like someone bumped it and forgot to fix it. I push it back without thinking and feel it catch on something. The shelf wobbles. It isn't against drywall at all. It's against poured concrete, and not the smooth kind. This patch is separate. A rectangle with edges that don't quite line up. There is a hairline seam running the whole way around it. In the bottom corner where the fresh paint doesn't reach, the concrete slab behind my shelf isn't flush with the wall. It's tilted just enough to show a fingernail's width of darkness. I press my ear against the seam, and the concrete is cool, faintly humming. Milo's name slips out of my mouth in a whisper that feels borrowed from someone else. No reply. I back away and shove the shelf hard into place, as if hiding the discovery might undo it. Upstairs, I walk the apartment until dawn. Every corner bare without him. At 8, my phone buzzes. Lena, reminding me to send the recording. I forward the audio file and type, "Also, my cat's gone." She calls instead of texting. "What do you mean gone?" I tell her everything. The knocks, the boot print, the seam in the wall. She doesn't laugh. She's quiet long enough that I hear her office AC click on through the speaker. "Okay," she says finally. 2 things. 1, I listened already. That's not Waterhammer. Too clean, too repetitive. 2, the cat thing? Did he ever get out before? Never. He hates the hall. Then he didn't just wander. Check your basement again. Check that seam. I wait until noon, when I know Martin leaves. His car isn't in the driveway. I head down with my phone flashlight. The air is sharp again, chlorine-tinged, like the walls have been scrubbed overnight. Milo isn't waiting for me. The seam is still there. Only now the paint looks a shade newer, as if a thin coat was brushed hastily. My shelf has been nudged. Back an inch, not how I left it. My pulse jumps. I crouch and press on the bottom edge. The slab gives a fraction, a reluctant inhale. Something metallic clinks behind it. A magnet? A latch? I can't force it with bare hands. I retreat fast, suddenly sure the bulb overhead will flicker and Martin will appear in the stairwell. Upstairs, I shut every lock and drag a chair beneath the knob. At 3, I hear scratching at the window. My gut flips. Milo. He's crouched on the sill outside, dusty, pupils blown. When I open it, he bolts inside, trembling, fur carrying a smell like basement dust mixed with bleach. There's a smear of gray on his collar, concrete powder. He hides under the bed and won't come out. I snap photos and send them to Lena. Collar dust, paw scratches, the seam. She texts back, "That's cement." And the pattern of knocks is a timer, I swear. Not random. That night, I set the recorder again. I leave the faucet off. I even shut the main valve in the kitchen. At 2:12, the knocks start anyway. 3-2-1. The sound prints itself on the waveform, neat and evenly spaced. Between sets, the recorder catches a faint whisper, so low I almost miss it. A syllable, maybe two. Not water, not pipes. I try to sleep, but my brain spins circles. When I finally drift, I dream of Milo pawing at the concrete seam, vanishing inside while a shadow watches. I wake with his bell jingling faintly from under the bed, his body pressed flat, as if hiding from something I can't see. By morning, I can't sit on it anymore. I knock on Martin's door. He answers slower this time, hair damp like he just showered. Everything all right? My cat went missing last night. He tilts his head, sympathetic but rehearsed. Animals slip out. He came back covered in cement dust. He chuckles, soft but wrong. Basement's old, dust everywhere down there. I press harder. And the noise, it's still going. I turned off my water completely, it kept happening. Echoes, he says, already dismissing. Other units, city pipes. It's just the building talking. Behind him, I see the neat order of his apartment. The smell of lemon cleaner heavy in the hall. A set of boots rests by the door, soles still damp. One has a faint ring of gray at the edge. My tongue feels dry. He notices my glance, steps forward just enough to block the view. Don't worry yourself, he says, smile flickering like the bulb in the basement. You'll get used to it. I nod, because anything else feels dangerous. But in my pocket, my phone is still recording, catching his words, his tone, and in the silence after, the faint jingle of keys with a bird-shaped charm. That night, I don't even pretend to sleep. I sit with the lights off, Milo curled like a tight spring under the chair, my phone recording on the table. At 1:57, the first knock vibrates through the floor. 3, 2, 1. Too deliberate, too evenly spaced. I put on my shoes. My hands shake, but I go down anyway. Every step on the basement stairs groaning like a warning. The bulb over the laundry blinks twice and steadies. The smell is stronger, bleach but layered with damp earth. I stay still until my ears catch it. A shuffle deeper in, past the last row of shelves. My flashlight beam cuts through dust motes, and there he is, Martin, in rubber boots and a headlamp, crouched by the far wall. He doesn't see me. His back is bent, shoulders hunched, hands working quickly with something metallic. I retreat one step, heart hammering. The step creaks and his head jerks. The headlamp flares across the concrete like a searchlight. I duck behind the shelf. For a moment, the light scans the aisle, then turns away. His boots scuff once, twice, then silence. When I peek again, he's gone. The aisle is empty, but the wall he crouched at, it's different. The paint's fresh, yes, but in the flashlight's angle, I see the outline clearer. A slab not poured with the rest, but fitted later. Edges cut neat. I step closer. My hand skims the surface, cold. There's a faint metallic pull, like magnets hidden beneath. I press harder. The slab shifts inward with a groan of stone against stone. Behind it, darkness. Not the shallow kind. The beam of my flashlight gets swallowed fast, but a narrow tunnel stretches on. Brick walls, floor dusted with footprints. Recent ones. I step inside. The air is tighter, colder. The ceiling drops low enough that I have to hunch. My shoes crunch on grit. 10 feet in, the tunnel bends right. Against the wall, gouges in the brick, like something heavy dragged and scraped. A scrap of cloth clings to the corner. A pale blue thread, torn unevenly. I pocket it without thinking. Further in, my light finds boxes stacked haphazardly. Cardboard warped with damp. No labels. I peel one open. Inside, jars of vinegar, wires coiled like snakes, a black metal cylinder with a switch. I touch it, then jerk back. A solenoid hammer. I've seen diagrams. It's the kind of rig that can knock pipes on command, on a timer. I feel dizzy. I film it all. The jars, the timer, the hammer. My hands are sweating so bad the phone slips once. At the end of the row, half buried under tarps, a plastic folder. I flip it open and my stomach flips with it. Letters, bills, all addressed to Anna Morales. Neat cursive on envelopes, dates 6 months old. Tucked in the back, a card. The corner of a detective's business card, creased and smudged, with a faded missing persons unit stamp. A noise behind me. Boots on grit. My flashlight trembles as I spin. The tunnel is empty, but I hear breathing, slow and steady. I kill the light instinctively and hold still, lungs burning. The breathing stops. After a minute that feels like 10, I edge back toward the entrance. The slab is still ajar, but from this side it looks heavier, harder to move. My pulse spikes. What if it locks from out there? I throw my shoulder into it, and with a groan it gives. I stumble back into the basement, slam the slab shut, drag the shelf over it again. My ears ring with silence. When I climb the stairs, the door at the top stands half open. For a second, I think Martin's waiting, but the hall is empty. The only thing left is a faint wet print on the top step, shaped like the tread of a rubber boot. I don't tell Martin what I found. I don't even knock on his door. Instead, I call Lena, whispering fast, and she insists on coming over. When she arrives, she has gloves, a flashlight brighter than mine, and the sharp, steady tone of someone who's seen too many half-finished horror stories. We go in daylight, she says, tugging on her gloves. Less chance he's watching. We wait until noon. The driveway's empty. My stomach knots anyway as we drag the shelf aside and push on the slab. It takes both of us leaning in before it groans open, the sound carrying like a warning. The tunnel yawns in front of us, air damp and chemical clean. Milo yowls from upstairs as if begging me not to go. Inside, Lena moves like she's cataloging everything. She kneels by the scuff marks in the brick, mutters about weight distribution, takes photos. When her beam lands on the jars and the solenoid hammer, she exhales. This is deliberate. See the timer? He can set the knocks to repeat like clockwork. That's not plumbing. She films everything, narrating in her practical voice. Type of device, placement, evidence of tampering. Deeper in, past the stacked boxes, we find a niche hollowed from the wall. Inside, a stained mattress, 2 dog bowls, one filled with dry cat food, the other crusted with water. A coil of blankets folded with surgical neatness. My throat dries as Lena shines her light on the corner. There's an old dictaphone, the kind with tiny cassettes. She clicks it on in static bursts. Then a voice. A woman's voice. Faint. Crack. 3, 2, 1. Then silence. Another clip, whispering, words half lost, but the same rhythm. I feel the hair rise on my arms. Lena rewinds, plays it again. She was trying to record something. Or signal. She pockets the tape. You'll need this. We move further. Another box holds files, printouts of complaints from tenants, photocopied and highlighted, all about strange noises, late-night knocks, fear, requests to break leases, each stamped with penalty fees. He scared them out, made them forfeit deposits, Lena says flatly, and the company let him. Before I can reply, a noise echoes from behind. The slab grinding shut. My chest seizes. Lena jerks her light toward the entrance, but it's already sealed. Footsteps echo. Rubber on concrete. Slow. Unhurried. He's here. The tunnel swallows his shadow. But I can feel it. Lena's breath sharpens. We can't be trapped down here. She grabs my wrist, pulls me toward the bend where the air shifts cooler. Another passage juts left, half hidden by more boxes. We shove through, dust cascading. It leads to a small iron door bolted from our side. I wrestle it open and we stumble into another stretch of tunnel, older, narrower, the brick sweating with damp. Behind us, his boots stop. His voice floats, steady, calm. That's private property. You shouldn't be down there. We run. The new tunnel bends twice before spitting us into a chamber like a forgotten utility room. Piles of scrap metal, a broken chair, a smell of rust and bleach. No way up, no stairs, just the press of walls. My pulse hammers louder than the knocks ever did. Lena forces her light around the corners, desperate. And then we see it. On the ground, half buried under dust, a keychain. The same bird-shaped charm I saw on Martin's ring, only this one is broken, snapped clean through the loop. I stoop, hand trembling, and pick it up. Lena looks at me with wide eyes. He's been in here, recently. The footsteps start again, closer now, deliberate. The light from our flashlights bounces off the sweating brick. The walls feel too tight, the ceiling too low. I don't know how, but we get out. We push back through the hidden passage, ram the slab with all our weight, and it cracks open just enough for us to tumble into the basement. I don't remember climbing the stairs, only that my hands are shaking so bad the doorknob nearly slips. When we slam it shut behind us, my chest is raw, throat burning. I hear keys jingle faintly down below. He was there, he knew, and for the first time I realize he isn't just hiding noises. He's hiding people. I don't sleep that night. Every creak in the building feels like him moving. Every sigh of the wind like the hiss of those bleach-scrubbed tunnels. Milo won't leave the space beneath the bed, only his eyes glowing when the headlights from the street pass across the room. I keep replaying the tape we found. The woman's whisper counting down like she was sending a message in Morse. 3, 2, 1. Lena comes back the next morning with coffee and a portable hard drive. She's already extracted the audio from my recordings, lined it up with the knocks. On her laptop, she shows me the pattern, the even spacing. It's mechanical, she says. And see, when you shut off your main water valve, the sound didn't change. That means it isn't plumbing. He built this. She clicks through her photos. The jars, the solenoid hammer, the timer box. Each labeled, dated. This is evidence. You need to file. But filing isn't simple. The property management company answers my call with scripted politeness and empty apologies. Mr. Green has been with us for over a decade, the rep says, voice sharp under the sugar. We've never had substantiated complaints. If you have an issue, please document it. I have documented it, I say, but she's already promising to make a note in the system before ending the call. That night, I slip flyers into the mail slots of the other tenants. A simple question. Have you ever heard the late-night knocking? By morning, 3 slips of paper are shoved under my door. One says, "We left early because of it last year. Lost deposit." Another, "Always at 2 a.m. Thought I was crazy." The third is just 2 words, "Good luck." When I share them with Lena, she shakes her head. Pattern of intimidation. He makes the place unlivable. They leave. He keeps the money. It's fraud, on top of whatever else he's doing. I'm still reeling from that when the detective from the business card finally calls back. His voice is tired. The kind of tired that's seen too many cold cases. "You're calling about Morales?" "Yes, I found her things. Letters. In a tunnel under the building." A long pause. "That case was closed. Voluntary disappearance. She left without notice." "No, she didn't." My voice cracks. "She was here. She recorded herself. We found her tape." Another pause. Heavier. "If you have physical evidence, bring it to the precinct. Don't confront him." But Martin is already pushing back. That afternoon, there's a note pinned to my door in tidy block handwriting. "Stop making trouble. This is your only warning." My stomach drops. An hour later, 2 officers show up at my apartment, not to help, but to question. Martin reported me for trespassing in the basement, for tampering with his property. They search my storage space, and in one corner, God, I still don't know when he did it, they find a crowbar, wrapped in duct tape. Not mine. One officer gives me the look that says he doesn't believe me. They leave with a warning. Martin watches from his window, smiling just enough for me to see. That night, Lena insists we put everything in writing. We prepare a joint statement, with all the audio, the photos, the flyers from tenants. She insists we include the most damning part. When we shut off the water and the knocks kept coming, she formats it like a report, each item numbered, clear. 2 days later, the police come again, this time with a warrant. They move through the basement with flashlights, ignoring Martin's protests. I hover at the top of the stairs, chest tight, listening. Then a voice calls up, "We've got another door." The tunnel leads further than we realized. Past the mattress, past the dictaphone, there's a second concrete wall. This one is newer, smoother. They break it open, the sound of chisels and hammers echoing up into the night. When the dust clears, there's a passage into a disused storage building next door. Inside, footprints in the dust. Small, sneaker-shaped, a bundle of women's clothes shoved against the wall, and on top of it, a half-empty blister pack of medication labeled Anna M. Morales. The detective's face goes pale when he sees it. "She was here," he mutters. "She didn't just vanish." For the first time, Martin isn't smiling. He stands in the corner, arms crossed, eyes flat. When they lead him upstairs, his keys jangle. And I notice the bird-shaped charm is still there, whole and shining. But I know that one half of it is lying broken in my pocket from that tunnel. And suddenly the truth feels heavier than the fear ever was. The courtroom feels colder than the tunnels ever did. The fluorescent lights hum, the benches creak as people settle, and every sound bounces off the walls like an echo. Martin sits at the defense table in a gray suit that doesn't fit, his hair slicked, his smile practiced. To anyone who hasn't lived next to him, he might look like a harmless handyman, but I know better. The prosecutor lays it out piece by piece. Our recordings of the knocks, the timer-controlled solenoid hammer, the jars and wires, the hidden tunnel. Lena takes the stand with her diagrams and her calm, no-nonsense tone. She explains what water hammer should sound like, how irregular it is, how it can't possibly repeat in perfect 3-2-1 intervals at the same time every night. Then she plays my recording from the night I shut off the water main. The room is silent except for the knocks echoing from the speakers. 3, 2, 1. Steady, mechanical, impossible to ignore. The defense tries to spin it. Old houses, creaks and groans, a tenant over-imagining things. But Lena demolishes that with her technical breakdown, pointing to the hammer device and its timer. The jury watches her demonstration like they're in a lecture hall, nodding, frowning. Then, the detective testifies. He admits the Morales case was marked as voluntary disappearance, but the items in the tunnel, the letters, the medication, the recording on the dictaphone, prove she never just walked away. The prosecution plays a snippet of that tape. The faint whisper of a woman's voice fills the room. 3, 2, 1. Even the bailiff shifts uncomfortably. I take the stand last. My voice shakes, but I tell it all. The first night, Milo vanishing and coming back covered in dust, the bleach smell, the seam in the wall, the second hidden door leading to the storage building. I tell them about the note on my door, the crowbar planted in my storage, the way Martin stood smiling while officers searched for evidence he'd put there. My throat goes dry, but when I glance at the jury, I see their eyes fixed on me. Not with doubt, but with anger. The climax comes when the detective presents the final piece. From the storage building, in a box under debris, They recovered a phone, cracked, dusty, but still holding a video file. On the projector screen, we see a woman, Anna Morales. She looks exhausted, her hair matted, her eyes darting like she expects someone to come back any second. She whispers into the lens, 3, 2, 1, and then, "He won't let me leave." The date stamp is from 6 months ago. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. The defense scrambles, mutters about staged recordings, but the damage is done. When the verdict comes, it's guilty, fraud, unlawful confinement, tampering with tenants, a list of charges long enough that Martin finally drops the smile. The judge's gavel cracks like the final knock in the sequence. Afterward, the property management company tries to wash its hands, but the lawsuit grows anyway. Tenants line up to tell their own stories, the patterns of fear and intimidation. They'll pay for what they allowed. Weeks later, contractors seal the tunnels, filling them with concrete until the seams are gone. The bleach smell fades, replaced by the honest damp of an old building. Milo sits on the windowsill again, fur catching the light, his bell ringing like nothing ever happened. The first night I sleep without the recorder, I wake in a silence so deep it feels like a gift. No knocks, no whispers, just stillness. And I think of Anna, of the whispers she left behind, of the way she tried to mark her presence in the dark. Sometimes I wonder how many other basements and how many other buildings hold doors that shouldn't be there. How many other tenants heard something strange and let themselves believe the easy answer, just the pipes. But I don't believe easy answers anymore. Not when I know someone can build a whole lie out of the rhythm of a knock. Not when I know the walls remember.